What the heck are the Bears doing?
All I can tell you, guys, is that prior to Saturday, this may have been Friday, considering all the stuff that's taken place, because this Justin Fields staying or going has driven me so crazy that I tried to get fitted with a straitjacket. They just didn't have my size. I mean, it was insane, to be honest with you. But eventually, they were going to trade him because eventually they're going to take a quarterback in the first round of the draft. They have the first pick for the second year in a row. Very few teams get that opportunity. Last year, they gave Fields a chance. They went out and got DJ Moore with that first pick. And this time they said, after what we've seen, we've got to go and get a quarterback we think can lead us finally get a franchise quarterback. This team hasn't had one now since like 60, 70 years. And that guy is probably going to be Caleb Williams.
Do you think they should have given up on Fields?
Yeah, I think Bob, it was time. If a couple of things. Number one, he really wasn't a very strong passer. He's a terrific runner, very exciting player. And they didn't help him a whole great deal as well. But in the end, when you have a passer rating that is last in the league in the fourth quarter of games in which you've thrown so many interceptions, and that your accuracy is undeniably not very good, and he holds onto the ball too long, and he gets sacked too often. And a lot of people say that's the offensive line's fault, but in fact, he holds onto the ball. Matter of fact, he holds onto the ball longer than any starting quarterback in the league, ranked 39th out of 40 this year. So the time came, and I think this regime realized it. They gave him one chance last year, albeit it wasn't enough, but they gave him a chance to show that he can take that next step. The next step is he'll be a good quarterback, an average quarterback, but he's going to be a backup quarterback. And take a look at what happened. Look at all the quarterbacks that moved this season. Unprecedented. I think there were 13 that moved teams, some backups, some retreads. Finally, it took the Pittsburgh Steelers to say, you're going to back up Russell Wilson if Russell Wilson ever leaves the lineup.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about Field. I don't know whether you may be right. Fields may not be a very good quarterback overall, but I don't think the Bears put him in an enviable situation. I don't think their offense was good enough, to tell you the truth.
I agree with that. But now what they've done is they've gone out, they traded for a terrific receiver, added to DJ Moore. They've upgraded their team. They've gotten a better running back. So whoever they pick in that first round, which is likely going to be Williams, he's going to be surrounded by a much better group of players than
But
most.
he's going to be a rookie quarterback, George.
Absolutely. There's no question. I did a little homework a couple of weeks ago in which I went back to 2000. There have been 69 quarterbacks, I think, that have been drafted in the first round, not first overall, but drafted in the first round.
Right.
And I came to the conclusion that only 13 of them had very good or great seasons in their rookie years. And some of those guys never panned out. Jameis Winston, who's still in the league, had a great year. Robert Griffin III had a great year, but then he was injured. And so that's 19%. But you could say that about any of the quarterbacks coming out now. This is a very rich quarterback class coming out, but you could say that about any single one of them. The bottom line is picking first in a quarterback, that's a crapshoot. And right now, the best of the lot is Williams.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
but, but George, I think everybody, I think there's a lot of people that weren't surprised that Fields got traded, but they got a conditional sixth round
Yeah.
pick for him. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like they got nothing for him,
Yep.
and for all intents and purposes. They almost begged the Steelers to take him. I mean, and there had to be a bigger market for him than that, don't you
Well,
think?
well, there wasn't. That's the problem. When you saw all the quarterbacks going off the board, first of all, he was never going to go to Atlanta, which is his hometown, because they got Kirk Cousins. But look at all the quarterbacks that went before him. And this, I don't think, was a case of the Bears having a higher ceiling as to what they wanted for him. I think a lot of teams saw that he just isn't a very good quarterback. He can run well. He can throw occasionally, he gets a really good pass off. But when you rank as low as he has now for the last 3 years, and granted, not all of it is his fault, but you could blame the offensive coordinator, you could blame the lack of talent, but you could also blame Justin Fields.